What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you guys are having a good day. Excellent here. Talking about Stellar XLM, the ecosystem, and stuff like that. Whatever I say on this channel is not financial advice by any means. Do not take what I say as financial advice. This is my stated opinions. If you're looking for financial advice, you should get yourself an accountant, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm talking about the technology and what the use cases are. Okay, let's get into it. So first, I was looking into I'm familiar with Stellar because it's a fork of XRP, right? But if you look at their website, they have all this. There's a lot of symbology in here. If you look at it, that plays into numerology, astrology, whatever you call it, right? It plays into that stuff very interestingly, because the word actually stellar lumens means starlight, and if you put them together, stellar lumens is 13 letters altogether, starlight 9 letters, 22, which is ISO 20. That's what it comes down to. Also 22 comes to, the sequence has been thrown out a lot as well. 1111, completion, stuff like that. 13 and 9 is also, where did I do that? I should just put that here, right? That's sticking out there. Also 13 and 9. And you can go check that scripture out where it talks about, harvest, the time, plowman. As you can see in the world we live in today, everything is being sped up and stuff like that. 13 and 22, also another thing that ties up and stuff like that. What's interesting is with all these numerology numbers that play, and I'm not gonna even go so much in depth with the numerology stuff, but it is interesting how these things play out as well, because you have a lot of key factors in here. And even if I have to do the trading, yeah, you can see it's how it's playing out. Right, let's get into this. Well, you can see XLM is the token, but we all know that XRP is the phoenix that rises from the ashes. Now, how does it play out? Does everything, the whole system crash and then everything goes up, both XLM and XRP? Or does XLM take off before XRP, and then post Black Swan, XLM takes off, and then the Black Swan plays out, and then it takes off, XRP goes up? There's multiple key factors. Just paying very close attention to XLM because of what's going on. Like, we know the whole lawsuit with XRP, smoke and mirrors, what's going on there. And if you look at the XRP health, there's only a few legit projects that's coming out on the XRP ledger that I know of. But when I look at the stuff on XLM, there is a lot of corporations on there, not individuals making projects. There's a lot of corporations up there that are setting up their trust lines and stuff like that, where I think majority of the real wealth is going to come from. And then, keyword interoperability that shifts in between XRP and all those other stuff, right? We know they discuss stuff. Let's get into the ecosystem. Stellar. They just give you a brief introduction. What Stellar is: open source network for currencies and payments. Stellar makes it easy, possible to create, send and trade digital representation of all forms of money, dollar, pesos, Bitcoin, pretty much anything. It's designed so all the world's financial systems can work together on a single network. Stellar has no power. If anything, it's owned by the public as the nodes and stuff, but it's software, yes, that forks off for XRP, which is then created by uh, Jed McCaleb. And today is not Taco Tuesday, so I'm not going to really go into the whole Jed McCaleb situation with Ripple and XRP and stuff like that, but it is interesting. The software runs across a decentralized open network and handles millions of transactions each day, like Bitcoin. And Stellar relies on blockchain to keep the network in sync, but the end user experience is more like cash. Stellar is much faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient than typical blockchain based systems, yes, because it is distributed ledger technology, which is the way forward when it comes to blockchain. That is more advanced technology that they're actually using. Blockchain has been around for years. Stellar Network launched in 2014. Since then, it's processed more than 2 billion operations made by over 6.5 million individual accounts. Large enterprise companies and companies small single dev startups have chosen Stellar to move money and access new markets. Right, we're seeing this large enterprises, and we're not getting to the Lobster wallet and stuff towards end of the video after explaining everything. Yeah, if you stick around, you're gonna find some hidden gems that will make you good wealth. By no means this is a financial advice program, because these projects, you're gonna do your due diligence, do your own research as much as they can share stuff. From the beginning, Stellar has been cryptocurrency adjacent, but the software has always been intended to enhance rather than undermine or replace the existing financial system. Whereas, say, the Bitcoin network is made for trading only Bitcoin, Stellar is a decent that is great for trading any kind of money in a transparent and efficient way. Yes, that's what it does. The Stellar network has a native digital currency, the Lumen, that's required in a small amount. For initializing accounts and making transactions, you can read more about that here. But beyond those requirements, Stellar does not privilege any particular currency. It's specifically designed to make traditional forms of money, the money people have spending and saving for centuries, more useful and accessible. Alright. For example, here's what you can do with Stellar. You create a digital representation of a dollar. On Stellar, you can call it the dollar token, and you can tell the world that whenever someone deposits the traditional dollar, you will issue them one on the new token. When someone brings that dollar token back to you, promise to redeem it and turn it for regular dollars. That can actually pause and go through all of this. This is where, like, you have the XLM token. That token has all the utility that caters for everything and stuff like that to give it the value that it needs. Yeah, so Stellar is the network, XLM is the native cryptocurrency, and how it's used. We can do the similar functions to XRP as cross-border settlements and stuff like that, because it is forked from that network. The ongoing development of the basic Stellar technology is guided and supported Stellar Development Foundation, a non-profit company based in the US. The foundation helps maintain Stellar's code-based support engineering and business communities around Stellar, and it's a speaking partner to regulators and institutions. The foundation has no shareholders, so it can be purely dedicated to the success of Stellar as a neutral, equitable, and public network. Okay, covered that. How does Stellar work? At the lowest level, Stellar is a system for tracking ownership, Like accountants have for centuries, it uses a ledger to do so. But Stellar's innovation is that there is no actual accountant. Instead, there is a network of independent computers, each checking and rechecking the work of the other. Stellar is a system without central authority, meaning no one can stop the network or secretly adjust the numbers to his liking. Yet, even without central authority, the ledgers are verified and updated every 5 seconds. It is a Stellar consensus protocol. I think it has a proof of concept mechanism, same like XRP by a chance. You kind of see where's all this going, right? Now we're going to take into a look in some of this is from XX underscore 1133 underscore 1221 underscore 11. He has great content on Twitter. You should check his content out if you're on Twitter. He has very interesting stuff. I've been following for a while and been sharing his stuff in previous videos as well. And I'll drop the link below for his Twitter page, because this dude's really cool at what he does. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it, right? You see all the projects. Let's get into the projects first. We have Lumen Swap, Ledger, Stellar, Stably, Flutterwave, DSTOQ, MoneyGram, which we're all familiar with. We have CirclePay, right? These are all Stellar projects, that's what we call S projects, because they're on the Stellar network, right? So we have these projects built in there. Stellar Expert, which is the Explorer. Stellar Beat is another Explorer. Stellar Guard. These are all things where you can see the tokens, transactions, all of those things, nodes. You have your tools, wires, Satoshi Pay. Then you have a network, which is Quant Gateway over Ledger connecting networks. Quant works with Art Recorder, which is very interesting how that plays out there in this part of the network connection there. You have IBM Worldwide Gateway, IBM Network on Stellar Blockchain. We have Stronghold SHX, SDBC, Philippines, Bangkok, Brazil, Bank Person, 46 Endpoint, Banks, TDA. This is on banks. And you have IBM involved with the ISO 20022 infrastructure. Yes, this is IBM's in there. So this place where you have domestic remittances, not international, domestic asset stable coin, 1-to-1 USD built on Stellar for IBM, right? We have that two networks. Then you have your wallets, you have your Lobster wallet there. There's no more wallets, these are all other wallets that are on the Stellar blockchain. I'm not familiar with these other ones. Then you have SDF, which is your software development. Alright, that's what I think it is. Yeah. Then you have liquidity layer, which is interesting that it has its own liquidity. Aqua, which is Aquarius, which provides liquidity, and just showing you this astrology stuff. They say we are currently in the age of Aquarius, something like that. So it's very interesting that this project is called Aquarius, and with their site, how it's done, and the Stellar stuff. You have your USD stablecoin, Hyperledger Fabric, Consensus, which is also part of Quant, the lab, both Stellar smart contracts, SSC. As you can see, then these contracts go to the DEX. You have stuff like Coinbase, Kraken, eToro, put through Lobster, the DEX, right? And then this S assets, which we have Smartlands, Fred Energy, Stronghold, Ethereum. This is some Doge token that's on the blockchain, Lumen Swap, Ethereum. Just a few, like good tokens on there. You can see this is how it goes through a lab of networks. Then you have XLM, which is the native token for the Stellar blockchain. Cross-border transactions between every currency is 50 billion supply. They used to be they burn half the supply, 20 million on the market, 3 million to promote Stellar, peer-to-peer, business to business, peer to business. That's we covered this part. Is very interesting and graphical, right? We covered the Stellarverse basically, and that's just like one part of it. Because then you have another part, Stellar Core. This is like at the core operation of Stellar, and we'll start. Where do we actually start on this chart? Okay, we'll start here, right? Stellar Core. You have Stellar Universe, Core Testnet. You have Stellar Consensus Protocol right here. Validating and agreeing with the core and the status for every transaction. And you come down to nodes. Coordination between nodes, validate transactions and ledger, compliance server, Stellar Federation server, Horizon automated programming. Yeah, that stuff with the data. Easier that bridge between Stellar Core apps. Takes XDR from Stellar Core, decode into JSON, delivers JSON objects formatted into HAL for simplicity. Okay, here we're going. This is more the program when you're doing like GitHub stuff. You write, you creating a DApp. It goes through this process 1, 2, 3, gets onto the network, and you follow this red line. You can see. Then there's the compliance server that pushes the stuff out and it gets agreed and stuff like that. Bridge server. What's interesting is you have a new project came out, Starbridge. So we have Bridge server. You have your online banking apps, Shopify, Now Payments, Stellar Pay, payment service, your app that you can create, Stellar Studio Development Kit, apps, online banking apps, wallets. You see all the different wallets in here. This Trust wallet. And then there's Lobster I'm familiar with because that's what I'm using, and we'll get into the hidden gems of what's being in Lobster and been hiding there. But I just want to get into the whole stuff of what we're really working with when it comes to XLM, because there is so much stuff going on at XLM blockchain, Stellar network and XLM. Alright, this is IBM Worldwire. This is another big project as well on the Stellar XLM blockchain, IBM Worldwide, XLM plus SHX, Anchor Bridge currencies here. This is from XX_. Right, let's see where he starts with this. So he's got different stuff here, banks, IBM Worldwire blockchain. You can see in and out. Right, so we'll start straight from here. IBM Worldwire, member of INAPTBA, near instant transaction, complete transparency, low clearing cost, open compatibility with all currencies or asset type, 72 countries, 47 currencies, 44 banking endpoints, distributed ledger technologies. You can see XLM is right here, Stellar Network, Hyperledger, application programming interface, hosted validator nodes, anchor bridge currencies, payment mechanism for people in remote areas with weak local currencies, and then you have your Stellar Network Hyperledger Frame, which is your Stronghold token that's in there, and we'll get into Stronghold 2 as well. We have Starbridge is a recent one that they've talked about, and there was an article that came out last week. This was the article. We'll get to the article. Starbridge, a trust minimized bridge between Stellar and other blockchains. We know they're bridging with Ethereum. That's what the Starbridge is for. Over the last few years, we've seen blockchains growing in adoption and utility, establishing their place in the global financial system. At the same time, while they're growing in popularity, they're increasing fragmentation, mirroring the fragmentation we've seen and been trying to solve in the traditional finance. And we see Stellar on the other hand is becoming an established interoperability layer between a wide variety of financial systems, with a growing number of Stellar anchors connecting fiat currencies with stablecoins issued on Stellar. Today, users can redeem assets in the Stellar wallet off-network for an actual dollar, peso, and another fiat currency in their pocket. More importantly, they can exchange between currencies at a faster rate and lower cost than they could on existing rails. Damn, man, Stellar. Beautiful, beautiful Stellar. I call it the sister of XRP, and the name Stellar is actually a lady's name as well. So it makes perfect sense why this token, yes, is the sister of XRP. Bank networks, blockchains. But Stellar is to strive towards its mission to create equitable access to the world's financial. It needs to be a bridge. We know XRP has a bridge, right? And not to get the maximalism points here, we need to get those stuff out the way so we can be open-minded about this and see the future, because I know everything is going to run on the XRP ledger, but just be open-minded that there's other projects that have bridges as well that are tying in eventually into what we're about to see, adding value into that. But there is serious stuff going on in XLM as it stands today, but the financial system is evolving, into which now includes other blockchains. That is why participants in the Stellar like Pendulum and Flare enable access to other blockchains through development of technologies bridging to blockchain. Today we're announcing a new project, Starbridge, a trust minimized integration between Stellar and Ethereum. The development and design of Starbridge is just getting started, and we are setting out the following requirements. They kind of show you interoperate with Ethereum. Yeah, no gas fees to deal with. I mean, unless your car is the only problem right now with inflation and stuff like that. Transfer value, decentralized, symmetrically bidirectional, pre-selected assets. Does throughput latency. Just not online. It's fees paid by SRC. Just okay. And you can pause. Some of us are not going to go through everything. Interoperate at a starting point, Starbridge will interoperate with one network, Ethereum, where a significant amount of DeFi is being built today. Wow, okay, that's cool. So projects that's on Ethereum, DeFi projects will come onto Stellar Network. That's interesting. I do see a couple of nodes run on there, so yeah. And the Lumen swap stuff latency, the deployed technology is forming Starbridge should just no more than 5-second latency on top of the confirmation on finality times of the blockchain network. That's 2 points that I want to cover: is latency and interoperability with, uh, XLM, working with Ethereum, Starbridge. It's interesting. There's a lot of things that revolve around the star when it comes to XLM. Local assets, the assets you'll find on the blockchain that people are using already, like the Lumen wrapped assets created on the destination blockchain by Starbridge to represent a local asset being sent from the sending blockchain. Starbridge will use these assets to perform two different types of transfers. You can see there Ethereum, right? And just to give you a better graphical view, we have XX underscore. People have been taking his name out from these charts, which is not cool. That is copyright infringement, and this guy does a lot of work for the community with providing these charts, which I really do appreciate him doing. So that's not fair. And, if some of you guys are watching this video and you'll have done that, that's not cool. So please don't do that. Right, Starbridge observes. Starbridge operations hold unique keys or all control account together. Okay, here he has given us numbers to work with. Okay, so you can see interoperate with Ethereum, transfer validity symmetrically by 5 seconds. Yeah, I just went through that. Okay, you got your wallet, deposit, burns, local assets, right? And Starbridge observes bridge account. That's, we kind of already seeing that, where we have like USDC that's on the blockchain, where you can switch it from Stellar to Ethereum and stuff like that. That's where Starbridge comes in. Collect, author, trust minimized integration bridge between Stellar and other blockchains. We have type of local common asset blockchain in use, wrapped assets to a distinct blockchain by Starbridge to replicate local assets being sent from sending blockchain. So you'll be switching like XLM, all those stuff, Lobstr one, all those kind of things is in there, right? You have your Starbridge. Part 4. As you can see, bridge contracts, collect authorized signatures from Starbridge operators. Yes, they validate it where it's changed. ERC20 contract, wrapped assets, replace deposits. And then you see Ethereum here, withdraw local assets, wallet. Yeah. The thing is, when it comes to Ethereum, it is a bit of a very skeptical project. I do think it will fall back in price, but I don't see it going away. I do think that with all this bridging, all these projects that are currently adding value to Ethereum's blockchain are migrating into stuff like XLM, XRP, HBAR, XDC, Algorand, if you name it, those tokens, they're all directly tap into XRP, adding all that value and stuff like that. Which is interesting when it comes to the migration stuff. And then Stronghold, Stellar Asset plus IBM. There's a big project on the Lobster wallets, and I'm going to get into the Lobster wallet. I just want to get into this first before we go from Genesis in gem, by the way. IBM Worldwire cross-border real-time payment, closed network, SHX US dollar token, accept credit cards, 2.9% to 0.30 $30 per transaction, real-time settlements, ACH, bank business to business, bank retail, Stronghold Pay, Stronghold Direct, let's see, B2B, B2C, send and receive value cross-border, virtual pay, closed networks, audited, multi-wallet, real-time settlements. I think I own a few of this token. And then you have this red. I think we just covered the whole infrastructure and some stuff with numerology and stuff with XLM. Now, before I go into the Lobster wallet, I actually have this video to play, and then we're going to explain the Lobster wallet, right? Because there's always a bit of hidden messages here and there when it comes to certain things. I was trying to find some symbology with Lobster just to see the in-depth stuff, because there is a lot of stuff happening here, like like how they say things happen under the iceberg or in the sea, right? So I can't find my video. Where did I put it? Yeah. How did I miss that? Delete is good. Yeah, this was the column stuff. What is it? I just had it here. I don't know, this is some symbology stuff here. Just listen to this.
So these creatures engage in dominance disputes, and I think dominance is the right way to think about it, because lobsters aren't very empathic and they're not very social, and so it really is the toughest lobster that wins. And what's so cool about the lobster is that when a lobster wins, he flexes and gets bigger, so he looks bigger, because he's a winner. It's like he's advertising that, and the neurochemical system that makes him flex is serotonergic. And you think, well, who cares? What the hell does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. It's the same chemical that's affected by antidepressants in human beings. And so, like, if you're depressed, you're a defeated lobster. Like, you're like this. I'm small. I'm not, things are dangerous. I don't want to fight. You give somebody an antidepressant, it's like up they stretch, and then they're ready to, like, take on the world again. Well, if you give lobsters who just got defeated in a fight serotonin, then they stretch out and they'll fight again. And that's, like, we separated from those creatures on the evolutionary timescale somewhere between 350 and 600 million years ago, and the damn neurochemistry is the same. And so that's another indication of just how important hierarchies of authority are. I mean, they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet. And so what that means is these hierarchies that I've been talking about, those things are older than trees. And so one of the truisms for what constitutes real from a Darwinian perspective is that which has been around the longest period of time, right? Because it's had the longest period of time to exert selection pressure. Well, we know we evolved and lived in trees, something on the order of 60 million years ago. We're talking 10 times as far back as that for the hierarchy. And so the idea that human beings, that the hierarchy is something that has exerted selection pressure on human beings is, I don't think that's not a disputable issue. How it's done it and exactly what that means, we can argue about, but like that sort of biological continuity is just absolutely unbelievable. It was funny because I revealed this finding. I didn't discover this, I read about it, but I talked to my graduate students about it. I used to take them out for breakfast, and they were a very contentious, snappy bunch. And they were always trying to one-up each other, and they were quite witty. And for like 6 months until it got very annoying, every time one of them one up the other, they'd stretch themselves out and like snap their hands like. So that was very funny. It was really very funny. So you see this in lobsters, and so that's pretty amazing. And one of the other things that's really cool about lobsters is that, let's say you've been like top lobster for a long time, but you're getting kind of old, and some young lobster just, you know, whales the hell out of you, and so you're all depressed. But the thing is, your brain is dominant. But you don't have much of a brain because you're a lobster. And so now what are you going to do? Because you just lost. And the answer is, well, your brain will dissolve. And then you'll grow a subordinate brain. Yeah, and so that's worth thinking about too, right? Here for a couple of reasons. First of all, if any of you have ever been seriously defeated in life, you know what that's like. It's like it's a death, a descent, a dissolution, and if you're lucky, a regrowth, and maybe not as the same person. That's what happens to people with post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Their brains undergo permanent neurological transformation, and they then inhabit a world that's much more dangerous than the world that they inhabited to begin with. But we also know too, if you have post-traumatic stress disorder or depression, that your hippocampus shrinks, right? It dies and shrinks, and you can sometimes get it to grow back. Your hippocampus shrinks and your amygdala grows. And the amygdala increases emotional sensitivity, and the hippocampus inhibits emotional sensitivity. And so if you've been badly defeated, the hippocampus shrinks and the amygdala grows. Now, if you recover, the hippocampus will regrow, and antidepressants actually seem to help that, but the damn amygdala never shrinks again. And so, well, so that's another lesson from the lobster. It's quite a terrifying one, but it's one, like, it's so interesting that you can relate to that, right? It's like, I get what that poor crustacean's going through, you know.
Yeah, just to cover that before I get into the lobster stuff, you know, if you take away from this video why I'm talking about, you know, this video that you just watched, taking the information, you know, he's saying this wallet is not like social, you're not seeing a lot of people talk about it and stuff like that. It's like in the back, and like, you know, there's a lot of people, they go through some financial losses and defeats and they don't fight back. But yeah, like this lobster, right? You have this lobster wallet, and you have, even if you throw in like $1, you can have 1,000,000 tokens. And if you fight back, you can stretch out. It's like it's not over for you. It's not like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You can literally fight back against the system with lobster wallet. And that's why I use the Jordan B. Peterson video to explain to you, you know, with the lobster, because we're talking about this lobster wallet and the symbology behind it, right? And and then right now, uh, I'll actually drop a link below how to actually get this wallet and what you do, how to set it up and stuff like that on your phone, or this is the desktop version that I'm using. If you go to settings, and I'll actually leave my code below so you know. You go to Stellar, right? There's a redeem code there. I'll drop the code, and then you go into settings, go to redeem code, and just punch my code. We both get 1,000 aqua each. Aqua is liquidity for the DEX, for the decentralized exchange, right? But we're gonna get into some projects that are really on fire on this project. Uh, right, let's get straight into it. So first of all, I always look into what projects are built on XLM before I really went and check some stuff out. The first one we have is Viridium. Ethereum world use as the light of this project in the project working on tokenizing the carbon credits economy using the Stellar blockchain. Viridium is partnering with IBM and Stellar to integrate the word token to simply tracking, auditing, and credits and carbon market trading that. Now there is an article for this, right? We're gonna go into this wallet, then we're gonna go into assets. just go, I'm going to search some assets, make sure you're adding the right assets. So with word, there's only one word, and you can see even if you throw in $1, you know your chances are more stronger. Reason this token, right? What token? You can see everything about it. You can pause and look it up, and we're gonna actually view every token and go into the hidden gems and really what they're up to. So what tokens, as you can see, everything that's in here, current price. What they don't have is the website, which should have been here. See if we click on this, if it takes us there. Yeah, okay, it's taking us there. Why did it have to take me here? Okay, let's just go into the project straight away. It's supposed to, that's not supposed to have that. For some reason. It didn't have it. And that's so cool now. I hate when this happens. This is not okay, right. Finally, we are into this project, the neutral capital marketplace. VUD token, which is Viridium, automates environmental impact accounting offsetting across corporate supply chains, create global marketplace for digitized environmental assets. Our mission, Viridium Labs mission, is to accelerate the transition from an unsustainable extractive economic model to a fully regenerative economy by embedded environmental impact costs externalities into the cost of all goods and services we consume. Yeah, look what's difference. You have MIT, Gary Gensler, Silvio McKinney, Algorand guy, Forbes, Bloomberg. They have the carbon credits, they have this stuff. Companies are beginning to understand the value of Earth's finite resources, including clean air, forests, biodiversity, clean water, the price of goods and services. There's something that I've came across yesterday, but I don't see that today, right? With this whole carbon tax thing, is they were talking about gas and oil on this project, uh, right? Don't see it mentioned here. I don't know why it's not mentioned here, but they did talk about gas and oil on this project. And if you look at everything, you know what's going on with Ukraine, Russia, we know that narrative, right? One of the first countries, Ukraine, partnered with Stellar for a CBDC project. And this was a while back, January 4th last year. Now, while they were doing work there, you can see there's a lot going on. There's actually more behind the scenes with XLM that's going on there, and stuff, with the European Commission and all those kind of stuff. As you know, they play a big role into the ISO 20022 and blockchain technology, and they have issued out some stuff, and they have some big footing in with XLM. See, the Ministry of Digital Transformation is working on creating the legal environment for the development of virtual assets in Ukraine. Virtual assets, so they're saying more than one, but they're using XLM as that, to develop the CBDC, which eventually migrate into something. We believe our cooperation with Stellar Development Foundation will contribute to development of the virtual asset industry and its integration into the global financial system. Okay, yeah, they tell you there's more than that. And this was last year. Stellar revealed that it aimed to be the platform for governments globally to issue CBDCs, according to Stellar's founder, Jed McCaleb. The blockchain platform was already speaking to various governments and states that the central banks willing to issue their national digital currencies. Now, yeah, with Lobster and it being a sea creature, I'm saying there's a lot of things that happens under the sea, military-wise as well, with submarines and stuff like that. So when you look at XLM Zoom Wallet, XRP Zoom Wallet, which I love, by the way, I do use it. But there's ton of meme coins on there. There's way too much meme coins. There's just too much. There's just a few handful of legitimized projects on there. And here you have Lobster, like I just showed you that video to relate to you guys and what's going on there. And you see there's a lot of corporations setting up their stuff on there. Now, one of another token, like I just said, Stronghold, stuff like that. There's so much to get into. Right. That's one token that's on there. Then we just talked about IBM stablecoin, which I think was IBM worldwide. So if you go on the Lobster wallet and you just add these assets, so for me it's already added. I don't need to add that. And then the IBM worldwide, I don't know if that's still around, or I think that asset has been taken out. Yeah, it's no more on here, but it's an interesting asset to have. Right, because I actually went through a few. Edward, the Stronghold one, which is I have to actually show you which ones to add, because there's ton of Stronghold as well. You'll see for yourself. When it comes to the Stronghold one, can you see how many Stronghold tokens there are on this network? This is why you need to be aware of what you're adding. That's why we come into Stellar Expert. And you're gonna know which one to add soon. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you through. We're gonna go through this, right? It's gonna be good. SHX. So stronghold.co. That's the one you want to be adding. So you have stronghold oldpay.co. And we're gonna make sure we're doing this right. Stronghold.co, no space, no nothing. because they do try and wow, that's the one I got, but it doesn't show on here. It stays still a team. I think it's because I already added it. See stronghold.co. So this is the one you're gonna be adding. Make sure you add this. Yeah, this is what you need to be looking for when you go in. Make sure that it does have the .co. So you don't want to be adding a ton of scam tokens as well, because I do believe that some tokens that have been created are mimicking the name of the legit tokens. Just to catch people out as well, as they call it, exit liquidity. That's what they want to do with you guys. So be smart on that. So we got Stronghold down. Tempo as well as a good one. European money, as it says, Tempo is a European money transfer company that recently transitioned to Stellar. This is a terminal that will make money transfers using the platform cheaper, easier for its users. Clients are able to send global remittances. Now, with this token, yeah, I just closed my wallet. What the heck? Yeah, just close now. Just give me a moment to open it again. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, so with the tempo is on your, so if you go to top assets, if you go to, it's curated by, see this tenure, this, yeah, okay, yeah. There's this few projects, but they should have, they show you that. Why is not showing? Well, okay, on the mobile phone it will show you that, curated asset tempo. On your, I don't know why it's not showing up. And it's this first one. That's the one to get. This is the actual one that you'll add on. I don't have this asset. I don't think I own it by any chance. Yeah, I don't own that. But this is another hidden gem. It's in there. Open Garden is another big one. Let's see which Open Garden you gotta have though, because like I'm saying, there's so many different projects in here. This project has been done away with. Tilbury, I'm not familiar with that. Slice is a pretty good token. It's pretty good. There's only one of it, so you won't get confused. It's called Slice It, and the token is pretty, I wouldn't say like expensive, but as you can see, 50 billion and they don't give the price on this. On the app, it does show the price. No, what? There's no price for it. Okay, but yeah, this is another hidden gem. Shore Remit, and then Shore Remit is there on there. I'll show you which one it is. Yeah, I have to do this. It's gonna take time, but I want to make sure that you get the right projects, not scam projects, and throw in, because I did throw in $1 in a scam in here, but just to see what happens with that. And even here, I think I own some of these tokens, so it's not showing the right one that you need to get. Do I own some of that? No, I don't own some of that. So yeah, just because this wallet is small as hell, there's not even like, yeah, just taking the chances with it though. What were we talking about then? Sure, Remit. It's probably this one. That's good. Steam Harvest. Yeah, it's probably. Oh yes, this is curated by the Lobster wallet. So if you're on your mobile phone, you will actually see the Share Remit wallet. So there's no need to search for it. It'll be on there. Yeah, and that's the price of it. But yeah, this is the token, but it is curated by Lobster, so we're good on this one. There's no really searching for that one. It's actually on there. It's curated. Change. This one I haven't seen it. There's just a few, right? Now there's some that I've found because the research was Starbridge, right? As you can see, the Starbridge one is pretty solid because that they're working with bridging XLM and stuff like that. So this is Starbridge. As you can see, the 93 cents gets you 4,000 Starbridge. All right. Uh, this is the one, Starbridge.1. You'll get that. What else? Like I said, there's Word. Then Pendulum. I have to talk about this one because there's two Pendulum. People are getting a bit confused with this one. The one you'd want to go for is Pendulum Chain, which is stellarmart.org. They have been distributed to other, uh, you know, of the exchanges in Stellar's network. Pendulum, we'll talk about that. And then this Pendulum token, that's something else. That's not even like part of or associated with uh, Pendulum and Satoshi Pay. This project not associated with Pendulum by any means. Right? Here's it. We're gonna get into the Pendulum part. This Pendulum is a DeFi project on the Stellar blockchain, right? Satoshi Pay receives R&D grant from Stellar for Pendulum blockchain. We're excited to announce that we have received a research and development grant from Stellar Development Foundation to start development of the Pendulum network, a second layer blockchain that connects Stellar to the wider DeFi ecosystem by adding smart contract support and bridges to Ethereum and Polkadot. Right? We've seen that. Then I'll cut this out because they want to get to this. Decentralized finance, DeFi has emerged in the past year and it is positioned to profoundly disrupt traditional financial services like trading, credit, lending, yield generating accounts. The industry has grown over 20-fold alone and reached more than $60 billion in total value locked in smart contracts in May 2021 from decentralized exchanges. You had crypto lending to yield farming and insurance platforms. The DeFi economy unlocks a new financial system that is setting new standards for access, resilience, and transparency. Pendulum is like the flat network for XLM, has these, features of all these kind of stuff. And DeFi, with its unique focus on fiat token payments, Stellar is perfectly suited to serve as the missing link between traditional finance and the flourishing DeFi industry. I will drop a link for this article below. Right, Stellar, they have the grant for Pendulum, right? Satoshi Pay proposes Pendulum as sort of open decentralized protocols on which smart contracts can be developed and executed. The Pendulum chains acts as a second layer on top of Stellar with additional bridges to two most popular smart contracts, Ethereum and Polkadot. Both Ethereum and Polkadot is also Starbridge. You have Pendulum, Starbridge, and Pend for short. If I have to put this pen, get into Pentagon, Starbridge, Stellar, interoperability. If you connect the dots, you see all these keywords play out really well. Uh, just short words, but you can pick up some things if you go into this stuff. And then they just explain Pendulum Satoshi Pay entering the protocol space with an step for permissionless innovation and to increase the impact on the blockchain ecosystem. We've been discussing options to execute arbitrary smart contracts with the Stellar team for quite some time, and we are delighted to receive their technical input and financial support. For this, we aim to bring together the best of two worlds, DeFi applications as we know them from Ethereum with Stellar's compliant fiat tokens. It'll be exciting to see liquidity enclosed in Stellar's 9 billion market cap and the 7 trillion foreign exchange. We see that stuff, right? Leveraging, then you have leveraging Pendulum, which when it comes to this stuff, be aware of liquidations because this market has not been regulated. And if this platform launches early before, the regulations come, which probably might be the case, just be aware of what you're doing. It talks about automated market makers. All this, you can pause, check this out. We have DeFi applications, smart contract layer. They tell you what they're doing in here. Pause that, see that. There's a light paper, there's no actual white paper, there's a light paper for it as yet. There's also a node prototype went into testing, and we have other important news coming up shortly. So Pendulum is doing some great stuff. That's a hidden project in there. Everyone knows, Aquarius, liquidity for the market. As its Stronghold, Tempo, Smartlands, Starbridge, right? And Pendulum. That's just a few that we've got. And then this Sun Gold, right? The Sun Gold one, I'm not too have got into it. As you can see, the thing, but this with the Sun Gold, I'm not too sure if there's the actual white paper or anything, but they are saying bricks, and this is done by someone that's very well educated in the space. As I said, XX underscore 1133, red Sun Gold, and there is a project on XLM blockchain called Sun Gold, right? But which Sun Gold it is, because there is so many Sun Golds coming out. I've actually received a few Sun Gold airdrops today, which is not actual Sun Gold, right? It's gonna this is the one. When it comes to Sun Gold, it's this one, Indus.gold. So this is another hidden gem, Indus.gold for Sun Gold. As you can see, they're probably gonna burn a lot of these tokens soon as well. So that's a few tokens that I've come across: the Starbridge, Pendulum, SHX, which is the Stronghold token, Sun Gold. Uh, then there's companies like see some companies, right? For example, because most of these companies are not playing around. The reason why they're coming on to see Microsoft. This is actual stock name. I'm telling you, stocks on Stellar.org. So this is, if you I'm just saying for Microsoft, if you wanted Microsoft, you would get this, right? Uh, the reason right now, we all know this security narrative is playing out with XRP, so they can't just dive in straight into XRP because these are corporations and they have to also somehow apply to a law. With SEC being involved is going to create a problem as well. But there is interoperability where like these private corporations are going to use Liquidity Hub. I'm pretty sure they have set up, but for individuals like us, right, they have to still be an open stock market. Now they can't afford to run that stock market anymore, the traditional stock market. Yes, there is Sologenic. Sologenic, you cannot buy. The DEX is only available for Sologenic. Sologenic is not going live. Like you're actually buying an actual stock. And you're buying stocks for pennies because they're ready to liquidate that and then crash it and then run it up. You know, and this is where everything comes in, interoperability, stuff like that. And then with XLM, people don't know. I'm gonna play this video. Is that it already passed Congress?
Permissionless, decentralized network that is optimized for payments. There is no single entity, including SDF, that controls the code base of the network or its growth. You don't need permission to use this technology. Just like the underpinnings of the internet, it is ready and available for use to anyone. Importantly, and especially in the context of this hearing, Stellar was designed for asset issuance, making it possible to create, send, and trade digital assets backed by nearly any form of value. And also is designed with compliance tools built in to help those asset issuers meet their own compliance obligations. The Stellar platform is a pioneer of tokenization, optimized for fiat-backed asset issuance before stablecoin was even a word. And over the last few years, an ecosystem of businesses and users have built use cases around Stellar-based stablecoins due to their incredible utility to solve many of the problems we see in today's payment landscape. Despite the headlines, what's happening in the world with blockchain, with cryptocurrency and stablecoins is not just lending, trading, and borrowing. Other use cases are active and focused on solving real-world challenges using the technology. So let me start with MoneyGram International. MoneyGram is building a solution on Stellar that enables seamless conversion between cash and digital assets. MoneyGram's network integrates with the Stellar blockchain to enable cash funding of digital accounts and payout in different currencies of the consumer's choice using stablecoins. It's using Circle's USDC coin. In real terms, consumers will be able to send value in the stablecoin and easily convert to local fiat currency for instant pickup of thousands of participating MoneyGram locations globally. This is in pilot phase right now in the US and is expected to be widely available in 2022. Another example, Leaf Global FinTech has built a solution for refugees and cross-border goods traders who are vulnerable to theft while carrying across borders. So with Leaf's wallet, these users can save their money in multiple currencies, benefit from cross-border transfers, and pay for goods and services.
I'm gonna stop it there. Right, but you see what you said, available in 2022. I showed you in the beginning of the video these numbers, the numerology 22, right? And that's where we're coming at now. And this is my personal opinion, just seeing the way the XRP ledger is, the way XLM is. I'm seeing a ton of meme coins on there. That's not the way you want to go. That's not. But you have corporations that have been around for generations and generations and generations that have set up trust lands on XLM. Now, obviously, we're not seeing wealth going into meme coins there. You can see them pump it and stuff like that. But if you're seeing like a real true value money, it's going to come through those corporations. And where are they positioned? They're positioned in the XLM blockchain. Uh, Obviously, that executive order and stuff is to get passed out. But the key word I'm saying is interoperability is eventually all of those stuff is going to add that value into XRP as you know it. But yeah, the key point is yes, XLM, or you can position yourself in XLM to get this wealth, and then here you can convert that into other cryptocurrencies that you'll have because this is a world changing moment. I mean, if you throw in $1 into a certain token, a hidden gem, that's real. And it goes, you have 1 million of those tokens, the token, just for being conservative, that token ends up to $1. That is 1 million bucks. And if you buy maybe other gems as well, just like what I'm just showing, a few stuff on here, you'll be good for these tokens. Like you can see this